Well, what is going on YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Today on the table in front of us, we've got something new from Kansept Knives. This is the Kansept Knives Copperhead. And, well, you know, they have continued to produce superior knives since they hit the market. This is no exception, although it's not really my blade shape. I'm not a hawkbill knife user, really, but I got to tell you, this thing is lean but long. The blade is really well done. The jimping right here where your thumb wants to land makes a ton of sense for push cuts. I used this thing at my part-time gig recently and had to cut open a bunch of cardboard, and I got to tell you, while I don't carry hawkbill knives, this one worked beautifully. I love that shape up there at the front end of the blade. It's got this beautiful swedge. It's got a reasonably thick tip, but it does pierce very well for draw cuts. This one happens to be carbon fiber. They make an all copper version. They make an all G10 version. They make titanium. They make a budget version. This happens to be the S35 VN blade. It has a G10 backspacer. It has a milled pocket clip, which is very nice. This is a great carry, you know, it really is. And I love the way it looks both closed and open. It's just a cool knife. The carbon fiber, see if I can get a good look. There we go. Is really well done, very smooth. It's got no voids, no pits. It's just beautifully done. Now, there are steel liners on both sides that are milled out to reduce weight a little bit, so it is not a hefty knife. It is just a superb knife. It has a choil up here that you can get your finger into if you want to come forward, which works. It's a little small for my big old fingers, but there's no bite, so it works like it's supposed to. What I really like about this thing is if you come forward, you can get your finger right there into this rise, and just, oh man, it's a box cutter when you hold it like this. It really is. And it's a great box cutter at that. I like fun stuff like this. I like stuff that's outside of my comfort zone. This is just that. It's not really a blade shape that I would have chosen, but getting the opportunity, and I got this directly from the nice folks at Kansept. They are extremely generous. Has been just a ton of fun. And it showed me that even if I wasn't, this isn't a knife that I might have picked up because of that blade shape. Man, now that I've got it in hand, it makes a ton of sense. I love how this is milled, right? All this is knocked down. So you grab a hold of, it's a liner lock, sorry, as you can see. We're locked up at just about 35%. This is milled in such a way so there's no sharp edges, but you can access it really easily, whenever you want to. Now, it is a right hand tip-up carry only. There is no spot over on this side for the clip. It does have a lanyard space if you want to lanyard, which is very nice. The screws are mostly recessed. You can feel them a little bit, but they are actually more down inside the carbon fiber on the show side than on the lock side. That's interesting. Other than that, it's just another exceptionally well-made Kansept knife. Let's get some size comparisons out of the way. What should we do? Well, here it is against our old friend, the Rat Model 1. Of course, this one's been modified a little bit, and as you can see, if we line these up, they're very similar in length, although you get a lot more cutting surface out of the Copperhead here. Here it is against the Presidio 2, the Mini Presidio 2 from Benchmade, as you can see. Again, this is very similar in size to the Bug Out, so it offers a good example there. Here it is against the full-size Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue version of the Griptilian, and as you can see, they're not that different. The Copperhead here is a much leaner design, makes for a really nice carry because it is so lean. Let's get some overall specs out of the way. We'll go ahead and line it up. You get 1, 2, 3 1/4 inches of cutting on just over 3.5 inches of S35 VN. The grip area from behind the choil, 1, 2, 3 just 3 3/4 inches, which is perfect for my hand. But if you add that forward choil, 1, 2, 3, 4 3/4. So this gives you a full extra inch up here at the top end if you really need to get a hold of it, which is very nice. I dig this thing. I really do. When I first opened the box, I thought, you know, I just don't like hawkbill blades, but that's an aesthetic thing and not a use thing. Having had this in my pocket when I needed it, I can tell you that under the right circumstances, that hawkbill blade makes a ton of sense. It really does. Let's go ahead and weigh it just to see how we land. I don't think it's going to be that heavy. Old trusty scale. All right, we'll start in grams today. We are 99 grams, which means it is not very heavy. 3.5 ounces. So you actually get the ounce per inch ratio of blade to ounces is just dead on perfect on this thing. It is a very nice carry. The blade stock itself is actually pretty thick, which is interesting. It comes to a nice edge, but we start way back here at the thickest part of the blade. We are 3.5 millimeters. It has high grind into this sort of recurve, right? But it does come down to a very nice, reasonably thin edge. It's not a razor blade because of how short this is from edge to, well, from flat to edge. But they've done a marvelous job sharpening it, right? Now, I know some of you are going to say that it's hard to keep these things sharp because of the this recurve in here. But I'll tell you, if you use a rod system, it's much easier to do. And I just use a ceramic sharpening rod to basically strop my knives out when I'm done with them. So I don't ever let them get that dull. But I'm not into mirror edge. I like a working edge. I don't really care how pretty the actual edge itself is as long as it's not chipped up and messed up. So for me, keeping my recurve sharp is not the same thing as it would be for somebody who likes to put a really beautiful mirrored edge on there. But that's just me. Your experience may vary, and of course your interests may vary. But for me, keeping one of these sharp is not that big a deal. The handle itself is reasonably thin. We are 11.45 millimeters, or half an inch, a little under half an inch, right? Kansept is my favorite knife company of 2020. I know it's 2021, and I never did any of my top 10s, but as you guys know, towards the end of the year there, things went a little sideways. I still may do them because some really interesting things happened in 2020. Some chaotic things happened as well, but in the knife world, some very cool things happened, and one of those very cool things is Kansept knives. I mean it when I say I think they are my favorite new knife company. This is sort of the reason why. They're doing really, really good things. Anyway, this is the Kansept Copperhead. I have been a Therapeutic Edge. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this look at this knife. If this knife interests you, or if any of my knives interest you, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. I hope you guys are having a great day. We'll see you next time.